It is a lifestyle change. It affects everything. Trying to find that time to connect, and never spending time together. Why don't people talk about how bad it sucks? These other women out there have helped me realize that, you know what, this does suck, but we're in this together, and it's not just me.
Trucking, the lone cowboys of the highway. Except it's not if you're in a relationship or you plan to be. This trucking lifestyle is extraordinarily demanding both on you and your partner, and it's important to have conversations about what your relationship will look like out on the road. And that's why today we're sitting down with the fellow creators Hart Driven, a couple that has experienced life as both a trucker and the stay-at-home partner. We're discussing relationship, challenges, and discussions that need to be had between you and your partner before you jump into this trucking lifestyle. Let's go. How long have you guys been together?
We've been married now about 3.5 years. So
Okay.
I was a trucker when we met.
We met in Easter of 22.
Yes.
And then I told him the following week we were going to get married. So we got married that November.
Yes, we did. The proposal was just strictly a formality.
I just knew it. I don't know. Some people say, oh, you just know it. I've been married before, very short marriage. I've been divorced well over 20 years. And when I met him, I was like, be nice, Melanie.
Now, I was married previously for 18 years, but I had the opposite effect. I didn't travel. I was home every day, probably more so than I should have been. At the time, I was pastoring a church. I was working at school, and I was with my kids 24/7, just about. And that marriage didn't work out. So when that marriage broke, that's when I started doing jobs on the road. I started out doing traveling construction, and then quickly went into trucking.
Gotcha.
And then of course we met at church, and so between the two of us, though, we have 9 kids. That's why scheduling can be a struggle at times.
I'd imagine so. I have 2.
Yeah, I have 2. Mind you, I've only had 2. I have the oldest and the youngest,
and they're all in diapers. No joking. No.
That's funny.
No, we have them. They range anywhere from 25 to 8.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just recently got with the lady that I'm with now. We've been together for a little over a year, and we're living together and whatnot. And it's just been such a drastic change, but she's never experienced me being an over-the-road trucker. I drive locally, dump trucks, roll-off trucks right now. So like, she hasn't experienced that struggle of an over-the-road truck driver. Mm-hmm. So I would like to turn to her, but she just doesn't know, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me today about, just relationships with truckers and the difficulties, home life, work life, and blending it all together. You guys do a fantastic job on your guys' different platforms of talking about this and bringing a lot of attention to it.
Yes.
So
and that's we and honestly, we got into this, and we're glad it helps others, but it actually helped our marriage.
Really?
Because it gives us this team thing that we do now together. Even though we're separated, we have this team thing that we can do together. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You stole my words.
I stole your. Well, you go ahead.
He's loud, so you may have to back down. Well,
no, you're good.
No, I didn't. When I first got into this, I just wanted to. I don't know what I was even thinking, and I just did it. And the more I did it, the more I realized, yeah, there's other people out there. This sucks. And it's not just me who feels that this life sucks. Everybody gets it. Why don't people talk about how bad it sucks? It's like I'm married, but I'm not.
Yeah, my cool guy channel has now been usurped by this chatty girl channel.
No, I mean, it's definitely important to highlight those things, especially for couples that are getting ready to start trucking.
Yes,
it's not a job; it's a career. It's a lifestyle.
It is a life. It is a lifestyle change. It affects everything. So Luke and I only see each other sometimes maybe a few hours on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because he has the bulk of the younger children, and it's like trying to find that time to connect, and never spending time together alone, just talking. I'm no joke. It's chaos. We have 2 dogs and a lot of kids, and that's the best way. I'm always cleaning, washing, sweeping, but doing this throughout the week, plus I'm homeschooling during the week too. Doing this, I don't know. I feel like I feel like there's a closer bond. I feel like in a way that I don't feel so distant. Like I'll call them and talk to them about, is this really something that truckers talk about, or is this really this? And am I off base with this? And and I don't know. I'm trying to find. I stumble a lot of my words. You might want to edit a lot of this.
No,
but.
you're good. I love the natural feel of it. It's just a conversation between people.
And it really it surprised me. These other women out there have helped me realize that, you know what, this does suck, but we're in this together, and it's not just me. And I'm not glad for it sucking for them. I don't want them to have that, but you know, it helps me realize and be grateful for, like, my husband's not gone for 6 months at a time. My husband's not gone for 4 weeks at a time. I can see him relatively almost every week, sometimes not every week, but it makes me realize how blessed I am to have that, because some women don't.
Yeah. Well, and we've noticed too that our wheelhouse has started to expand a little bit too, because trucking is the primary that you see of a lot of people who are back at home and trucker wives. But also we're getting a lot of people comment on here. Well, my husband's not a trucker, but he travels construction. Mm-hmm. My husband's not a this, but he does military. Or my husband. We're starting to see a whole lot of that wheelhouse kind of expanding our wheelhouse to say it's not just truckers, but truckers are kind of the most common of this type of lifestyle. But there's a lot of other folks that have that separation lifestyle like that too, and it can be difficult. Like I said, this is something that we've done to, and that's where she uses that tag on the bottom. We started using the tag on all of her videos that just says "Trucker Wives Get It," because and people respond to that well, because unless you've been there, you don't know.
Right.
You really don't know, and that's kind of the.
And when I get those veteran wives chiming in, she's like,
"That's the best." We get some. I've been a trucker wife for 40 years, and that's the ones that really can put out some wisdom. We love that.
For the husbands that say, I've been driving for 35, 40 years too, and God bless my wife, or I didn't know that this is some of the stuff that she went through, mm-hmm. or I knew she went through it, but thank you for this reminder. And
definitely.
Wait, I don't know. It helps me because it's lonely.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine. I mean, I know when I was in my marriage, I would call home and she'd be busy doing stuff. You know, she don't have time to sit there and talk on the phone for hours on end like we can our trucker buddies. You know, other guys that are just out there running nonstop. We can sit on the phone and blast through 3 hours, no problem. But it's different for people that are working a life outside of the truck. Quick pause here to give a shout out to a new member on the channel, Roderick Roche. Thank you so much, Roderick, for the added support. I really appreciate it. And if you want to become a member on the channel and get access to special badges and emojis, I'll leave a link for that down below. Memberships are definitely not required, but the added support definitely goes a long way. Now, back to the video. So you were a trucker prior to getting in the relationship. Miss Melanie,
yeah.
How difficult was it to get used to the idea of being in a relationship with somebody who's going to be gone all the time?
Well, I'm glad you asked. No. Well, okay. So I was previously married, and my marriage didn't even last 3 years. So I've been divorced. I was divorced since 2003. And I raised my other son, who's going to be 26 this year. I dated a few here and there, never remarried. I don't know. I guess maybe. And then I had Thomas 17 years after the first one. And I don't know, I think because I'm not a loner per se or anything like that. I think I'm just used to being alone. And I don't know if you were to come off the road, if we would even like each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. It takes so much more time when you marry a trucker and they're already a trucker. Understand that it's going to take more than the normal amount of time to develop that relationship.
Right.
And you need to be prepared for that, because you're not going to have that day-to-day interaction in the same way that you would have it if I was working a job at home.
I was very independent. I worked, I managed the purchasing and shipments from a local company here, and I was always busy. I worked a lot.
As a matter of fact, conversation over logistics that hit us off when we met.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
We both at the same church, and she was working as a buyer for a company, and I was a truck driver. And I used to be a buyer I used to build semi trailers for Great Dane semi trailers in the Huntsville plant in Tennessee. Did that for years, and I worked way up. I was a material buyer there, and she was before I went into trucking, and she was logistics at this other company. And so she was at church one day, and we just started talking, and she was amazed that somebody could talk her in her world, that you know how it is when you understand this world, you understand it, but she already understood the logistics world.
I worked in the tariffs, I worked in the international shipments, the material purchasing material. So you got this, you got these perks being a material. I didn't get that. So it was just interesting.
I get a cubicle.
Right. Well, that's really cool. I mean, that trucking and logistics was your guys' kickoff point versus where a lot of people and a lot of my community actually on YouTube is starting their career. They're just getting started. I do a lot of company deep dives. And I think that it's important to hear and have conversations with your spouses, or if you're going to be getting into a relationship after you start trucking, that it's difficult. I have a buddy of mine that I've been friends with for 10 years. We started trucking together, and he's been single the whole time, pretty much. The first couple of months after he started trucking, his relationship failed too. And he's been single this whole time and still stayed an over-the-road trucker. And it's been very difficult for him to find relationships and make it substantial. I think maybe because you're off a little bit more often than over the road would be. You know, I was out for 1 to 2 months at a time typically.
That's a lot. And that's the way I was when I traveled construction. I actually one of the few people that probably got into trucking to be home more because the job I did previously, I traveled even heavier.
You know, and it really did, honestly, it just depends on the person. I have always been like on my own. I grew up in this little Scott County, Tennessee, Winfield. When I was 22 years old, I moved to Durham, North Carolina. Huge culture shock. I don't know if it's a really relevant point or not, but I've never really been scared to be
out. Yeah, to be alone, to be by yourself, and that matters too. In fact, I think with us it works, and I don't know if we're a unique blend, but it does work because she is very independent minded already, and I'm very independent minded. And when you have one person who is very independent minded and another person who is very clingy in that sense, it can be difficult. It can be hard, and it's not a knock on any person because apart from trucking, apart from traveling, the dynamic between men and women is very different anyway. That's a whole another series of podcasts in and of itself. But when you add this dynamic to it, it certainly it amplifies those problems. You know,
that's why I think we were kind of destined to meet each other. I don't know. I really do.
Beautiful.
Like I said, that next day at work, because a coworker had invited me to church for that Easter Sunday, and I was just going to go laugh at him because if he messed up, I was going to rub his nose in it. He was the one preaching. My friend was, and that next day at work, that following Monday, I said, "Yeah, I think he's the one." He said, "I think he has a girlfriend." I said, "Yeah, I don't think so."
He ain't for long.
He ain't for long.
There you go. Okay, so what are some things, I know your guys' kickoff point was trucking, so this might not be quite as relevant to you guys, but what are some things that truckers and their spouses should discuss prior to making the decision to become a trucker?
Yeah, if you're in that situation,
kids, you got to worry about
kids are going to be one of the big factors because
you miss a lot.
You miss a lot, and you can't just up and leave. And that's where a lot of people we get a lot of comments like that where people go, "Well, I just go with my husband. I just go." Well, that's not always possible. She would love to, and we might get a chance to next week because her son's going to go stay with her grandma for a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Or with his grandma for a couple of weeks. But so she might get to go on the road with me next week if I can talk her into it.
I don't like it.
She don't like it.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. I don't know. My hat's off to all you truckers that do it. I was gone for 4 days, 5 days. I smelled so bad like diesel or death or something. No matter how clean I was, I went and laid down. I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't wash my blanket. I had to wash everything."
But as far as people getting into that and they're discussing becoming truckers, you really got to make sure that you have that relationship tight. I guess the question would be, okay, we just got married. Now I'm going to go become a trucker. That could be a whole lot different than we've been married 20 years and we're needing to make the ends meet. So there's an opportunity here for a truck driving job. You would like to think that relationship would already be strengthened to be able to handle something like that.
If it's not strong,
I wouldn't recommend 2 new people just to get together and do that. I happen to already be doing it. We worked out. We're probably an oddball situation.
If it's not a strong marriage, it's definitely going to stretch it. There's been times where I needed you here, but and if it had been any other situation, it's just, honestly, I really think it takes the special relationship.
Well, we are blessed in these times too, because unlike truckers who 30, 40, 50 years ago, You had
You don't have the cell phones.
Yeah, you didn't have cell phone,
sure.
FaceTime, all this ability to stay connected. Like I have, like I said, I have my kids. I've traveled quite a bit. I have a wonderful relationship with all of my kids. I maintain that, and thank goodness for technology, because it gives us the ability to do that these days. That's something you didn't have before, when all you had was a pay phone at a diner, at the truck stop, once every evening,
with 5 other guys lined up waiting to take your spot.
It's exactly. And then you've got everybody giving your wife the attention they need at home that you're not able to give them. And it's different back then it is now. So I would say this is a recommendation, especially if you're a young couple and you're getting ready to get into trucking. Make sure you got FaceTime. Pay for the extra services that's going to keep you better connected.
For sure.
I mean, if you need to pay for them, because that's going to give you dividends in your relationship later.
And I think there's something to be said, too, about the fact that the trucking world is primary communication. You're communicating with your dispatchers, communicating with your spouse, and that communication, I believe, can actually build a really strong relationship just talking about, okay, what happens if this thing comes up? What happens? What are we going to do for kids? What are we going to do for retirement? Things like this, that you can actually have that conversation over the phone with that person and build the verbal relationship and work on the physical relationship a little bit more when you're at home.
And I will say this, obviously you got to talk to dispatch, but those are usually short conversations. You're not usually going to be on the phone with dispatch for 3 hours at a time. But I will say this, though, that just a word of advice to truckers: no other call is more important than your wife's. Make sure that's priority call. I mean that because she's probably calling you, and it's probably going to be some emotional thing that she's just stressed about, and it's probably not a big deal to you, and you're like, well, I don't know why you're calling me about this, because she's in a tense moment and she's stressed. Take a moment to talk to her. If I'm on the phone with my buddies, or phone with another trucker, or talking to somebody, and my wife calls, and one thing about it is we all understand this. My other buddies that are truckers, I got a buddy named Scott. That we talk to often, and when his wife calls, I'm just like, hey man, my wife's calling. Okay, got to go.
Yeah, same for thing. Sure.
Same reverse. You need to make sure you prioritize those phone calls, because at the end of the day, the person that's got your back the most, the person that cares about you the most and wants to see the most, is the woman that you've got back at home.
Right.
You're not out there because you're having a party and a vacation. You're out there because you're just trying to earn money and get back home as quickly as you can to provide for your family. And so make sure that you make that your priority call. Make sure you make that your priority person.
And let her know that. You just communication. Let her know that, because you're at home all the time. That you kind of get lost in. Communicate that with her and let her know.
And reverse that too. If I'm on a phone call with my wife and everybody calls, unless it's something vitally important that she knows about, like the dispatchers need to call to let me know where I'm picking my next load or something like that, that's fine. But those calls can wait. I'll call them back when I get off the phone with my wife.
For sure.
And that needs to be that prioritized. If that prioritizing that it is in your thinking as your relationship, it'll help keep that strength together.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead. Whenever dispatch calls or anything like that, I don't know. He's like, dispatch call, or Evergreen's, so-and-so's calling me.
And even then, a lot of times I'll just put her on hold and say, hold on just a second, baby.
No, I know. You usually don't have to explain anything. I'm like, all right, and I just hang up. Or your work friend, I call him his work husband, Scott. Oh, we love Scott. I love Scott. He was our best man in the wedding. So Scott calls, I'm like, all right, tell him I said hi or whatever. And then that's just it. It's I really think it's the couple. If you're trying to like force a square peg into a round hole, it's not going to work.
Right.
And there's something about him and I that we just mesh. He's right there on my level, and I think I'm right there on his level.
And I will say this, and this is probably goes against the industry, but the industry is not as important as the personal situations. If it's too much of a struggle for you and your family, and you and your wife, trucking's not worth it.
Right.
Get out of it. Go home. Yeah, the money. You'll figure it out. I'm a follower of the Word of God for sure. And Paul said this. He said, "Whether to be abased or whether abound, I've learned therefore with to be content." And when I say that goes to this kind of lifestyle too. The money is not the thing that's going to make you content as much as the proper relationships are going to make you content, because you will feel trapped in trucking. This is one of those jobs where and brother, you know where I'm at. You will feel trapped. It's like I can't get out of this. What do you want me to do? Where am I going to locally make the kind of money that I'm making here over the road?
Well, I would say Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. You're good.
Well, what I would say to especially new drivers, and I fell into this pit trap too, and I definitely can connect with feeling trapped in trucking. If you're starting in this career field, there is an upward potential to make money. Starting out, you're not going to make as much money as what you will 2, 3, 4 years down the line. So it's important not to outpace your spending with the money that you're making. Stay low, maybe go up a little bit, get a little bit nicer car, a little bit nicer house. But if you keep pace with the income that you're making, you're always going to be paycheck to paycheck, and that's what leads to being stuck. As far as the phone call is concerned, too, I do have a rule as well with everybody, partners, kids, family, mom and dad, people like that, dispatchers. If I don't answer and it's an emergency, call me twice. I'll know at that point, hey, that second call means something's really important that needs my immediate attention. I have to take this.
And that's a good rule of thumb.
So this way, one call, okay, I know they're there. I'll get to them as soon as I start driving again. But when I'm strapping down a load or whatever I'm doing outside of the truck, I can't get to it at that time. Now, if they call that second time, I know, okay, I'm dropping what I'm doing. I'm taking this phone call. Whatever's going on is really important.
It took me a while to learn that one. If he didn't answer, he's probably strapping something down, or he's probably loosening the straps. He's probably doing something. And then he answers, and it's like you can hear a blizzard and all these cranes and noise behind him. I'm like, hey, you didn't have to answer my call. He's like, well, it took me a while to get that. Check his location first.
Yeah, that's a good one. Live 360 can save a whole lot of arguments in this game.
For sure.
Oh, wait a minute. He's sitting at Steel Dynamics in Columbia City, Indiana. He's probably on top of a load throwing chains.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he's not just ignoring me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So checking that stuff out does matter. But if I teach my kids this as well as my wife has learned this, and she'll tell the kids this, she'll remind the kids this, that look at the Life 360. If he's moving, that's a good time to call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we got hours on end on stretches of roadway that we don't want to sit there staring out the window the whole time, bored as all get out. We're listening to music, podcasts. Yeah.
Exactly right. Nothing passes. I mean, you can listen to podcasts, music, or whatever, but nothing passes the time better than good conversation. But it's the funny thing, the irony of it is, though, you'll drive 3 and 4 hours with nobody call, dead silence. As soon as you pull into that shipper consignee, ring,
every time, every single time. That's funny. So what are some of the biggest difficulties for each of you, and what do you do for your partner to help in each case? There's no doubt trucking is difficult for being the wife and the trucker. And there's oftentimes, at least in my experience, a feeling of you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough because of there's two sides to each story. I'm all about perspective and trying to see things through others' side of things. So, Mr. Luke, what do you do for your wife to help her ease the burden that she has? And Mrs. Melanie, what do you do to help ease Lucas's burden?
I just pile it on her, say deal with it, suck it up. You'll be. No, I was kidding. I do. I try. I do try to call, and and I just a lot of times it's the peace of mind. That's the part that I need to bring. What we can't do is both be up here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so just bringing that peace of mind, going, baby, it's going to be okay. I'll handle it. You know what? Even though I can't be there physically to come and do this, let me handle those hard phone calls that I know are stressing you out. I can do that when I'm driving down the road. I can take those pressures off. I pretty much handle the finances of our house. I mean, she's always aware we're on the same page with it. But I pretty much take care of the majority of that stuff. Occasionally there might be a bill come up where I'm like, babe, if I pay this over the phone, it's going to be a $4 extra fee. Can you just run? We talked about our furniture bill yesterday. Can you just run up there and pay it and save us the processing fee? And she's like, yeah, that's no problem. And things like that. But generally speaking, I try to take that stress off, that stress load, because she's already got a lot going on here. I can handle our finances from the road. Nowadays, this isn't like back in the day. Everything's electronic. So I can handle all of our finances from the road. And so I try to keep that burden and keep that handled. So, because one of the biggest things that'll destroy any relationship, this is whether you're trucking or not trucking, are your finances.
Yeah.
Finances are a big part of destroying relationships. And if you can be the one handling a lot of that financial pressure, because times are good sometimes, and times are lean sometimes. That's just the way life works. You do the best that you can. Things happen, things come up. As a husband, I try to carry those stresses.
Right.
I try to carry those loads so that way her loads can be more, let's make sure the house is taken care of, the kids are taken care of, the school is taken care of. They've got what they need from day to day.
She take care of your mom.
Yeah, she helps take my mom. My mom is older. Her parents are older, so she helps take care of them. And one thing that I really do to try to take the load off is not let the finances be her stress.
I'll pay him, but I just need to know we're on the same page. We both have this spreadsheet. We both know what's due, what's coming up, and he'll go through like occasionally, like once a week, he'll go through the rundown. This is what I paid. This is what's due, and then I'll be sitting there just going along. Wait a minute, did you do what? Okay,
and here's what you have for this week to get groceries with. Here's the money. Give me that. We set aside for that.
Balance everything out, and it's like he handles that part, and I handle everything that we need here. I take care of the dogs. I take care of the kids. I'll go run and get his kids, and I'll just keep his kids here with me, and then. It just meshes, and I don't know.
And there are some days too, to be honest and to be real, because we can pretend like we're the perfect couple. Yeah. No, we have our days, But at the end of the day, you realize you're angry. She's upset about something. You're not understanding why she don't understand what you're going through. You don't understand why she don't understand why you don't understand what she's going through. And it's going to happen. The main thing is you guys got to remember that at the end of the day, you're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're working together for a better tomorrow for your whole family and for the both of you.
Quit fighting against each other and fight together, work together.
Yes. What is the old saying I heard say a long time ago? Stop judging each other. Why judge each other when we can judge everyone else together?
The joke together too.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance. Obviously, truckers, we can't handle everything at the house. Wives, obviously, there's stuff that you can't handle out on the road. And I think that
he finds a way to make that happen. He'll let me call Nick, let me call Tyler, let me call Caleb. We got the kids in our lives. If I need something done that's hard, or like a panel or something's broken, or I need something moved.
We have wonderful kids.
We have wonderful kids.
Both of us do. She's raised good kids, and I've raised good kids. I feel like we've done a good job with raising our kids to be functional young adults. Awesome. And so, and that matters, because if I do need something, like I can remember one time when we were first together, she got really, really sick. I was on the road. I was 1,000 miles away, and she was really, really sick, and I was really getting worried about her. And this is before she'd even moved into the house here with me. So I call up my daughter, Sarah, and my daughter, Sarah, she goes and she's like, Dad, I'll go check on her. And she went, checked on her, found out she was laying there very, very ill. And Sarah's like, no, and she ended up taking her to the hospital for me. So having that reach helps, having that connection with your family, keeping that relationship strong, not just in your home and with your marriage, but keeping that relationship strong with everyone that is in your life back at home is very important, because what happens is, like, if there's a desperate need, I can call my sons or my daughters or any of them that are of adult age, and they will step up to help me if I need something. And I don't use that card every day, but I'm saying it's something when something real happens, I know I've got that support structure.
All of them
back at home.
All of them.
Yeah, I think that's a definite big factor too, is just to have a network of people around you, whether it's friends or family, to help out around the house for things that break. I remember early on when I started trucking, my hot water heater went out while I was on the road. I think I was out in Arizona, and I called up my dad and said, hey, there's this issue. Can you help my wife at that point go and get a hot water heater and put it in for her? I'd appreciate it. And he was all about helping out and making sure that happened, and returning the favor when I'm off of the road and he needs something done at his house. Exactly. We're calling each other up and helping each other out. So I think that's probably one of the biggest factors in having a successful relationship while being a truck driver is the community. I hate to say that to involve other people, it can't just be you two. Exactly. But I can only imagine just two people trying to figure it out with nobody around them. That'd be really tough.
And we run across that, and she runs across that. Mm-hmm. She'll have conversations with people, and I don't want to ever point out anybody's names or anything like that. That would be our followers. We love all our followers.
I'm shocked at
great people. We're great about how many good people follow us. And one in particular that I remember that you talked to, that you could tell that she just wanted to bond with my wife, because she's stuck way out in the middle of nowhere just by herself, and her husband's gone 2 or 3 months at a time.
She's such a sweet lady.
Such a sweet lady. And so my wife has built these extra, when she sees situations like that, just to have that person that can talk to her and kind of help her, because honestly, we are blessed in the fact that we have this support structure all around us. When you're out there living by yourself and your husband's a truck driver, that could be much more difficult. That could certainly be a more difficult way to live. But if you're completely by yourself, And then when you hear a lot of people say, well, just go on the road with them, but that's not for everybody. Traveling like this every day is not for everybody. It is a hard job. And you can't ask your significant other to take part in that hard job. You know what I mean? Because she's gone with me a few times, and she likes it for the first day or two. It's not bad, you know what I mean? But it's kind of cool. We listen to the radio. We're driving down the road, and
Or I get to see family when we go down to Florida. That was nice.
Yeah, but when it gets into about day 5, day 6,
we're driving up those mountains in North Carolina. I'm like, I'm getting emotions.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go home. So it's not that you can't expect your career choices to burden your wife in that same sense anyway. Sure. So you got to be
a homebody too. Just to be honest,
she is a homebody. She is a homebody. That is for sure.
Well, I'm going to make you jealous, Mr. Lucas, real quick here. We talked about it, me and my partner right now, and we had talked about her potentially going to get her CDL, and after the kids are out of the house, going and teaming together and making that big money for 3 to 4 years.
Getting a lot better by doing that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we got a really strong relationship now, but I think just being able to, that be the retirement plan. Go trucking for 3 to 4 years, buy a house, cash, no problem, and travel the country and get paid to do it. What's better than that?
Here's what I'm going to recommend, and this is just, and I've talked to some, not just from my personal opinion or experience, but a lot of truckers I've talked to on the road. If you're going to do that, spend the money, get the right truck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Don't just get just a normal sleeper truck. Get one of those extended sleepers and get a 48-foot trailer and say, you know what, this is all I'm hauling. I'm only going to get loads to fit on my day. We're not going to do stupid stuff. And I run a lot of oversized and things like that now. And so I wouldn't want to do that in that situation. I get in the retirement time, you know what? I might even just get a drive van. Don't care. You know what I mean? And just put it on the back of one of them super sleepers, And then you feel like on vacation. When you got to do a 32-hour split, let's just do it near the beach,
Right, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it sounds like a blast to do.
I like that idea. Let's get, how old will I be when Thomas is 80?
I think I'm buying a truck now.
Check them out. I mean, they're really cool. I've actually got to be inside of one at one time. One of the companies that I worked with had super sleepers for husband and wife teams. And they spend 90% of their time out on the road, come home for holidays, and that's about it. And they live out of the truck, and it's really cool. Queen size bed, sink, toilet, shower, all that stuff inside of it. You're traveling and camping is basically what it is.
Yeah, I could live that life when the kids got older, but then we got grandbabies now coming too, and it's like, my grandbabies.
We're about to get 2 more. One in
we've got 2 grandbabies now. I'm about to get 2 more, and so it's like, man, I like that. So what we try to do now, that's another thing. Here's another thing too: plan something with your family every year. Mm-hmm. Make that a point. Make it something you look forward to, they look forward to. Like, for example, we're planning a trip to Gulf Shores, Alabama this year. We're renting a big house that sleeps like 24.
We usually do
and we do this. We haven't been able to do it for a couple of years because basically freight's been awful, but it's getting better again now. And so this year we're going to do it again. And we just rent a big house down at the beach, and we spend an entire 7 days down there. Having that separation time is very important. It really, like last couple of years we weren't able to, and it really bothers me because I feel like I don't get that reset. I don't get that reconnection.
You haven't been yourself without fishing.
Yeah, and I don't get to catch fish. So, we usually, as a family whole, we have a mission when we go and do that 7 days, and that is to go to the ocean and get many things in that water up on the bank with us as we possibly can.
That's a pretty good goal.
That's the goal.
That first year when they caught you guys caught a shark. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
What did Tyler catch? Stingray.
Yeah, stingrays, sharks, fish, whatever. We're just going to get it up on the bank with us so we can go, look what we put up on the bank.
Nice.
And we have a big fish fry at the end of the week. But no, but that's important though. It's important to spend that time with your, it's good for my wife and I, it's good for our kids. It's good for everybody. And when you do that vacation, especially if you got the ability to do this, bring somebody with you that can babysit so you and your wife can just go on a really awesome date night while you're somewhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of the issues for me and a big leading factor into why my marriage didn't work out is the fact that we didn't take as much time to just focus on us. Just have some adult time, talk about different things. Even like when we did have those few moments, the conversations were still about the kids. Not, hey, what's going on with you? How's your life doing? You know, what are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? So I think good communication it really is, and that connection between you and your partner, because kids are going to move on. They're going to get old. They're going to go to college. But at the end of the day, it's you and your spouse.
You're right.
So,
and one thing we men have a tendency to be, and it's just that this is our human nature, is we're mission minded. We're on task. We're on mission. Let's get this done. Get this done. Here, I got this load. Got to get it here. And we're very mission minded. So we take that mission minded. And I've had to learn this over the years. I'm 52 years old. So I've had to learn this over a lot of years and a failed marriage to learn it with. You know what I'm saying? And well, I won't say failed marriage. We were married nearly 2 decades, but it was successful for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this is the thing that there's a disconnect all the time, just just between men and women. If you're not careful, that men can become very mission minded. We have this task. This, you're building this show right now that you've got here, and it's a mission of yours.
Right.
And you're doing it every day. You're focusing on it. You're thinking about it. You're doing it, and learning to separate the mission from the relationship can be hard. Now, one thing that's really helped us is doing this together. We're part of the same mission now.
Right.
And so we do this to help other truckers and other trucker wives, and we're trying to build community. And so we're just really just getting started with it. I think we've only got about 30,000 subscribers on Facebook. We're just really she just started doing it with me back in October. So we're pretty new at doing it together. And so before that, she was always like, I don't know why you're always messing with those videos.
And finally, I was just like, well, if you remember, what was it? Those Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes. If you can't beat them, join them.
Right.
So I don't know. I just started doing it. I don't know. He brings out something in me that I feel like sometimes gets suppressed, just being the wife at home or this or that. And we are the woman behind the trucker. We hold it.
She is. I'm not the woman behind.
But sometimes we don't know our own value or our own worth, and we just sit quietly in the background. I am not a background type girl. You can ask my husband that. I will be
but and what you're saying is often the case. I think what happens with a lot of trucker wives is they don't feel seen and heard. They feel like they're just forgotten.
They don't want to be naggy. They don't want to be that wife that's this and that. And it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to miss your husband. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say it sucks. It's okay to find ways to cope. And this right here, doing these videos, actually, it helps me cope. It really does. And hearing some of the stuff that I know I've been feeling, I see other women say, it's like, okay, I'm not completely losing it. I'm not this. It's affirmation that what these women go through, and the women who are dedicated and stand behind that trucker, they work just as hard, if not emotionally and physically. And then there's the trucker women, and then there's the trucker wives that they partner or they drive for two completely different companies.
And we have the truckers themselves, and I talk a lot with truckers directly, and we so. I guess the biggest message we want to put out with our Hart Driven channel on Facebook, TikTok, or wherever we tend to expand it to is basically this: you're not alone.
No.
Right.
Just to understand you're not alone. You know what I mean? There's a whole culture of people that are dealing with this and dealing with this in different ways. And it's not a competition, and never try to compare your situation with someone else's situation. When you do that, you will always be miserable, because there's always going to be somebody with a better situation than you. There's always going to be somebody with a worse situation than you. And so you're better off not to compare. Just appreciate whatever situation of the person that you're talking to or dealing with or trying to help.
Learn from it.
Yeah. And just understand that every situation is different. And it is not an easy real life for anybody. Trucking's a tough industry. Now, I just put out a video on the channel this past week that did really well, and is talking about the most dangerous jobs. We as truckers, we have a lot of stress. We have a lot of stress in our lives that we have to contend with and deal with that is just out here on the road. Her understanding that, as well as you understanding what she's dealing with it back home, having that, like you said earlier, that communication is vital so that you have a clear understanding of each other. The more you understand each other and what they're dealing with, the better it's going to be. And don't compare yourself with other truckers and other trucker wives, because it's comparison is just going to hurt you. It's not going to help you at all. So
I've heard something said that comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely.
And whether it's comparing you to yourself or you to to other people, I think that's a big problem.
So I've heard this wisdom given to me years ago that you should always operate in your unfair advantage.
Explain that.
Okay, so you have something you're good at that nobody else can do. You always want to operate. If you want to be successful in life, you want to make sure that you're using the unfair advantages that you've been given.
Right.
For example, I've been around TV, I've been around production, I've been around lighting, I've been around studio work, I've done this stuff. So, and I've also now done trucking. Okay. So even though there's a bunch of truckers out there that I don't know why they don't do their thing, well, because you also need to know the other element. Kind of like in your situation now, you've been learning how to do this podcast. The reason why not every single trucker out there that drives a truck does a trucking podcast is because a lot of them just don't know how to do all that stuff. We've been watching some of your content. It sounds like you're on track with something. You're on track with something very valuable that's going to be for a lot of young truckers. And that is you calling up these companies, asking them the questions that a lot of young truckers wouldn't know to ask.
Right.
And that's critical to understand, and like just using a case in point, it's not trucking, but it's a case in point. I got a call from her oldest son yesterday, and they're looking at a different property that they're looking about moving to and all that stuff. And I said, well, did you ask them this? Did you ask them this? Did you ask them this? Did you ask them this?
Right.
And no, I didn't think about any of that. And I said, those are details you need to know.
Right.
And so you doing that with what you're doing with these trucking companies is ideal for a lot of these young truckers to go, that's not a question I'd have thought to ask. That's not a question I'd have thought to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
You're preparing them to get the right job for them. You know what I'm saying? That is a great benefit.
You're doing it live and you're letting them see the immediate response, whether it seems shady that the company's response or
we enjoy your channel. You do a great job with what you do, and we'll try to push you any way that we can.
No, I would definitely appreciate it. Like I said, the primary goal is to help truck drivers out in any way I can. And sometimes that's calling out BS. Sometimes that's calling out, oh, you're going to make 3,500 miles a week. No, you're not. You're not going to make 3,500 miles a week. It's just not going to happen. Especially starting out, you'll be lucky if you get 2,000. So understanding the industry and understanding what's realistic and not realistic is very helpful. And I think you guys really shine on, specifically Miss Melanie, paying attention to the wife's side. Not that side doesn't have a big voice. Unfortunately, I wish there was more community around that, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
And that's what we're working to build. That's what she's working to build. Is we're working to build.
Trying to find my next.
We're trying to figure out how to expand this into this wheelhouse of maybe bringing together a full community just for that purpose.
We have the cameras.
All right. Dude.
Go.
All right, you're gonna have to go, bud. Go.
Two of the biggest concerns generally for new truck drivers and their wives is infidelity and loneliness from each side for both people, actually. So what do you guys do to combat that, or what have you guys worked out to where this isn't an issue for you guys?
Honestly, I read some of the questions that you had sent that you might possibly be asking. I'm like, I told him, I said, it's never really been an issue of infidelity. I'm like, I think the one thing that we do is we put God first. And I've never even, that's never even crossed my mind with you. I mean, I'm lonely and stuff, but I'll call
and that is important too, because I'll just tell you a story from a long time ago that settles kind of this idea in my mindset. I was, and this was with my ex-wife and her mother, and there were some things that went on there, but I made the proclamation that you'd never have to worry about me cheating on your daughter. And the mother's like, we don't know what you'll do. You don't know what situation can come up and what could happen, how you could do it. I said, it'll never happen. I said, why? Because that's my integrity at stake.
Right.
That's my integrity at stake. Not, it's not about whether or not it's good or bad for them or them. That would destroy my personal integrity. Mm-hmm. And if my personal integrity is destroyed, then what have I got?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I make a choice, I'll make a choice. So having that, like my wife said, focusing on something bigger than yourself is probably the best way to combat those things. So you're not so focused on yourself all of the time.
I think you'd be more worried about what God would do to you than what I would.
Probably so. And that's a big one for us.
I don't know. I love him. And I made that choice and told him he was going to marry me.
But on top of that, though, as far as I understand also too, that there is the biological pull to those things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just natural. We have to live in the reality of that. having that good relationship with your wife, being that flirtatious with your wife, making sure that you have that good relationship, the physical part of your relationship is strong is important. Making sure that that's wrong. Now, what really I think hurts a lot of people is the emotional destroys the physical, because they're lonely, because they're messed up, because you don't care, you ignore me, this is a mess, and I don't like this.
Tell them what you want.
Yeah, just speak openly. That's the biggest thing.
Speak up. If it's this you're wanting, can we do this in our relationship? Just don't expect a man to just get it. I'm not no offense to you or my husband, but you guys just don't get it sometimes.
Yeah, you just gotta spell it out for us. We're not here to read between the lines.
I want flowers because I like flowers and I think they're pretty and they make me smile, and this is why, and it puts me in a good mood. Just putting it out there.
Right.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. When you spell it all out like that, I totally get it. And of course, when I make that call, I said, babe, remember, I'm a guy, so I'm really dense when it comes to things that you want to know and have. So just communicate that with me. And at least, you're never going to give 100%. It's not possible. You're going to try and you're going to fail. Be happy with 80.
Right.
Learn to be happy with 80%. And if you can get that, you feel like, okay, it's a win. You've passed, And if you happen to get 100%, wonderful. But if you can get 80% of the things that you want out of the relationship, and you can give her 80% of the things she wants out of the relationship, those things don't usually become the issue. Right. There's no way I can give her 100% of everything she wants. There's no way she can give me 100% of everything I want. We got to be happy with what we're capable of giving each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that goes back to the mission-minded, what you said, Miss Melody, about just giving the guy, hey, this is what I like, this is what I want. Our mission is to make you guys happy. Partially without sacrificing our own happiness in the process, obviously. But that's a mission. Part of one of our missions is to take care of our women, and I think that speaks a lot.
When the mission's clear, it's a lot easier for us.
Exactly. How I want to be happy. How do I do that? Start with flowers. That's a good spot. Yes. Chocolate's another option.
Go wrong.
And it doesn't matter. And I've learned this over the course of years. Guys, you might be with a woman who says, I don't like flowers. I think they're a waste of money. I think it's just silly. They're lying to you. Flowers are maybe even lying to themselves. They love them. I have never given flowers and they go, that's stupid.
Just go to the Hobby Lobby and buy some faux flowers. You don't have that excuse. Those ones don't die.
Yeah. Whatever. They love it. They love it. And I know there's a woman going to watch this right now. Is going to go, not me. I don't like them. Yeah, you do. Oh. Yeah, you do. Yeah, if some guy comes up loving you, and here's the thing, you appreciate any gift from the people you appreciate.
It's the small gestures.
That makes sense. It doesn't matter. You appreciate the things from the people that you appreciate. Now, some crazy guy that has been stalking you comes up and gives you flowers. No, you're gonna think that's creepy and weird. Get the heck away from me. But when it comes to the people that you love and appreciate, when they show that they love and appreciate you, even if it's with something that seems foolish, it just strengthens that bond.
Even the littles know. Let's get Melanie some flowers.
Yeah, they'll even tell me the story. Ooh, look at that! You gotta get Melanie these flowers, Dad. My kids love my wife, and I'm so thankful for that, and I love her kids too. So that helps a lot.
I mean, even with that, we got DoorDash now, Grubhub, all these things that you can go and say, hey, you want a coffee? I got you. It's coming to your door in about 20 minutes. Be ready to get it. Otherwise, it's going to get cold out there.
I've heard of some trucker wives that do that for their husbands on the road, but I never know where he's going to be at.
He's talking about
vice versa.
Trucker wife.
Well, I've seen trucker wives do it for their husbands. I was like, dang, get a grocery order sent to them and everything.
Right.
Girls could put me to shame.
I think I agree with you, though. We live
pick up your game, baby. That's all I'm saying. You pick up your game.
Right.
They don't have kids.
I think we live in one of the best times to have a successful relationship while being a truck driver. With all the technologies and things that we have, the big thing that's lacking is that physical. But you can make time for that. If you're swinging through downtown or wherever you're located at, if you're going by town, stop by for a couple hours, and that load can be late.
And I have, we do that. If I have an opportunity to swing by the house, I will for the evening. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, take advantage of it,
Definitely, for sure. Okay, last little bit here. Seeing the world from another's perspective is one of the hardest parts of life. Mr. Hart, what would you like your spouse to understand about the trucker's perspective?
I guess, even though we may not be able to vocalize it and we're not as emotional about things, we care. We care more than they think that we care. We, and I'm sure you can attest to that now. I'm sure you can attest to that back in your previous marriage, that you cared more than she thought you cared. And for them to understand and see that through your eyes, that we don't always vocalize things like we should. We don't always say things like we should. And, this is whether you're a trucker or even or not a trucker. Understand that it is our actions that's how we show that we love you. It's the things that we do every day, the sacrifices that we make. It's the reason we're out here is because we love you. Because we want a better life for you, for our kids, for our family. And we're doing everything in our power to make that life better. We're not out here just because we enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. What I would tell my previous was that if there was any sort of way I can keep up with our lifestyle and make it as awesome as I want it to be and be home, I would 100% do that.
Totally. Yes.
But where we're at right now, it's just not possible. So I'm doing my best to provide what I can provide. And
so you have to make that decision. Do you want more, or do you want me, or do you want what I can provide?
Right.
Yeah. We got to. Sometimes you got to sacrifice one for the other.
Yeah, definitely. And especially new drivers that are getting into the over-the-road lifestyle, don't make the pay of the over-the-road lifestyle the norm. Make your pay more than what your normal or required amount is. This way, if there is a time where it's a burnout, you're over it, you're ready to be home, and you finally realize that the money isn't everything and time is more valuable, you're able to do something about it.
Yes. Yeah. Put yourself in a good position for sure.
Exactly. And Mrs. Hart, same question to you. What would you like truckers to understand about the spouse's perspective?
It's hard. It's hard. Without getting emotional about it, it's not for everyone. And it really does take a special kind of woman to do this. And if I keep going, I'm gonna start crying because
okay, I'll stop you. Stop.
But it's not for everyone, just like trucking. It's not for everyone. And it does take a special person. And you will know some people can't get through it. Some people can't. And it's not for everyone. But if you have the will and the know-how, and if you have the determination, just like being a trucker, you can get there. You just got to communicate. You got to tell your husband, you want flowers.
Right. Well, what would you like me to understand that I obviously don't understand?
You stink when you come home. Take a shower, damn it.
All right.
Yeah, I work.
So do we have to pay you for the therapy that we're getting here right now? Or is that...
What do I
No,
want?
it's completely mutual. You guys are giving more than what I'm giving. That's for sure.
What do I want you to know?
Yeah, that's kind of the question he was asking is what is it that you would like for truckers to understand about the wives that they,
I think she did a good job.
That it may not look like it from the outside, but in our own way, we work just as hard.
Yeah.
And take your damn shoes off before you come in the house, please.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys doing that and giving your perspective, because I really think this is a conversation that needs to be had, whether you're starting a relationship post-truck driving or you're getting ready to start in the trucking industry and you're already married, you're already in a relationship. This is a team effort, especially if you're making a family together. It's a lifestyle. It really is, and you can't do it by yourself, and you can't force your partner to be okay with it either. It's tough. It's tough on both sides. For wives at home, for truckers out on the road, we want to be there. You guys, the wives want us there. We want to help you there. It's tough. It really is all around, and it does take some strong people to be truck drivers. I know we get this stigma around us that all we do is hold a steering wheel. We hold the weight of the truck as well as the weight of our household on our shoulders as truck drivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, brother, we appreciate you having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a while. I've been seeing you guys' channel.
We should have just did this quick. We should have just did it this way to begin with.
From the beginning with, but the weather's been awful.
I didn't have a chance to. I'm like, last minute, we're doing it now. I got an hour to get ready. I'm like.
Yeah, I definitely understand. It's hard to get together in person oftentimes, so this works just as well. And like I said in our chats, that the information is way more value than information is way more valuable than the picture that we're showing on screen.
Right.
So I think this is going to help a lot of people out. And you guys are continuing to help trucker wives and truckers work on their relationships together on Hart Driven on all platforms, TikTok, Facebook. I don't know if you guys are on Instagram or not, whatnot.
We do, but we don't push a big presence there, but we do have it on Instagram.
Honestly, I'm not as familiar with Instagram. Instagram 10, 15 years ago was like just for pictures and look at I changed this aspect ratio, and there weren't all the videos and this and that, and it was, I don't know.
And we'll also be coming soon to probably YouTube. We're looking at building our YouTube channel, so we're going to do longer form content when we get there. So within the next 6 months, give us 6 months, we'll probably have our YouTube channel up and going.
That sounds great. I look forward to seeing you guys on here, and I'm sure with the content that you guys are doing on your own right now and the different platforms, you guys are definitely going to be a success very quickly. Wow, I tell you what, if that wasn't some great advice for new truckers, I don't know what is. If you're wanting to get into trucking and you're already in a relationship, it's important to have these tough conversations, because being in a relationship in this trucking lifestyle is not just about the trucker. It's also about your partner supporting you along the way. So take the time to connect with your person and make sure this is a good decision for the both of you. And truckers, understand that even though this lifestyle is okay by you, it might not be okay by your partner. Special thanks to Hart Driven for coming on the channel to discuss relationships and home life in this trucking lifestyle. And don't forget to follow Hart Driven on TikTok and Facebook to see their great advice that they hand out every single day. But as always, I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you guys think about this video in the comments below? What challenges have you faced becoming a truck driver while in a relationship? As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, bye. What are some of the most petty violations that you can get?
The cracks on the windshield. I've seen people get a ruler, a legit ruler,
to
measure. Like, to me, if you have to sit there and measure, petty.